Totally Football Show European edition on Tuesday, December the 5th. Correct, Rapha?
Correct.
Hooray! Excellent. Rapha's here with us, as is Julien Laurent.
Hello.
And Alvaro Romeo.
Hola.
And James Horncastle.
Hello.
Everyone very excited about the Euro 2024 draw, yes?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Who's most excited?
Well, I'm not anymore.
Oh.
Why?
Well, I mean, the games are great, but like Italy's have two games which are in Dortmund and Gelsenkirchen,
Yeah.
which means I'm going to be based around there. And Raph, it doesn't look like the most exciting part of Germany.
Ah, that's true.
I'd rather be in Berlin or Munich.
Where's the third game?
Third game is in Leipzig.
Bad luck for you.
Where do you know what Italy's base camp would be? Maybe there
Well,
would be something
they're
completely different.
they're still negotiating, but I think it's on the outskirts of. It's between Dortmund and Düsseldorf.
Yeah, base yourself in Düsseldorf. It's a nice city.
Any
Not
good
my favourite
restaurants there,
city.
Rapha?
There's
Right,
some
listeners?
really good restaurants in Düsseldorf.
Oh, really?
It's
Yeah.
got a massive Japanese population.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah, it's famous for its Japanese restaurants.
Nice.
Ah.
The French will be, their base is in Paderborn. That's not good news, is it?
It's a
I
little
knew
bit-
it. I kind of knew it.
The vibes
It's a
here
little
are
bit
like
non-
generally not a great host country.
What about Spain? Where is Spain going to be?
I heard.
Not too sure.
I heard
I
about
don't know.
Spain.
Well, the country.
Yes, it's in Western Europe.
All right.
I mean, the French play in Düsseldorf the first game against the Dutch. So, that's
So maybe
one
I'll
of
do
it.
that game instead.
No,
So
against Austria is the first game.
Against Austria, the
Yeah.
first game in
What a-
Düsseldorf.
What a group, Jules. Is
It's
that the
good.
real group of death, do you think? You've got France
Yeah.
and Netherlands
Yeah.
and Austria,
Yeah.
who Rapha knows so well. And then whoever makes it out of the playoff could be Wales, could be Ukraine.
No, it could be Wales or Poland.
Could be Wales,
Could
could be
be.
Poland.
Yeah, it could be Wales, could be Poland. Yeah, it's
Or
good.
could be Finland.
Could also be Finland.
Or Estonia, if you want to.
Okay. Anyone else?
Mrs. L is very excited if Wales make it and play against France.
Because Mrs. L is Welsh.
Mrs. L is Welsh, so
Oh.
I think there's a big contingent coming over from friends and families in case Wales qualify and play against France, which would
Okay.
be good. It's good. I mean, we play the Australian in the Nations League, of course.
The Austrians.
The Austrians.
Yeah, not the Australians.
No,
Oh.
it's the Australian, surely.
No, but
The Australian.
Australian.
but you know that Raúl Albiol, you remember Raúl Albiol,
Yeah,
he played
of
for
course.
Villarreal.
Yeah.
In Euro 2008, he was in Austria. And they
Yeah.
asked him, when do you think that you'll be back in Austria? And he said, the next time I'll go to Austria, I'll come back
With a
to see the kangaroos.
Nice.
Nice, Raúl.
This is literally Raúl Albiol in 2008.
Wow.
Perfect,
Yeah.
perfect.
Kangaroo schnitzel.
Yeah,
Something. Okay.
very tasty.
Interesting.
And we play the Dutch, obviously,
And the Dutch, yeah.
regularly. I think
Yeah.
this is the...
Jules' nemesis, of course. He
Fifth
thinks all
time or
Dutch managers,
sixth.
he will not name
the
them.
Dutch guys, basically.
The Dutch guys.
And then, hopefully it's Wales and not Poland who we faced at the World Cup. So basically all the teams know each other really, really well. That's what
Okay.
I meant. So, it should be fun.
Yeah.
It's not as group of death than the one we had in the last Euros
Mhm.
with Germany, with
Mhm.
Portugal and with Hungary.
Mm.
So hopefully the outcome will be better.
Germany
Group of
this
death
time-
or the group of petit more?
Well, I don't know. This time in the morning. Germany will be having Scotland and Hungary and Switzerland as their companions in their group, which seems nice.
Who's the best team in that group?
Hungary. According to recent results,
Yeah,
Nations
Italian
League.
coach, of course.
Medic.
Nation League.
Yeah.
One of 20% of the coaches at the Euros are Italian.
Oh, okay.
Right.
you
How
said
many?
that last time.
20%.
It's only four.
20%.
Four.
4.
4 out of 24. That's not 20%.
It's not 20%, is it? I
Not
saw
close,
that.
not
I saw
close.
the statistic, but
Yeah.
I'm sure there's still time.
You
It's
can't
a lot
count.
of more.
You can't
Yeah.
count.
Yeah.
Italy, meanwhile,
With Spain.
drew a tough group with Spain, Alvaro, and
Yeah.
Croatia and Albania.
Yeah, Spain playing in Berlin the first game, by the way. So you were asking me about that. Good place to start
Yes.
against Croatia.
Mm.
And it's the only group that puts together the current champion of Euro with the current champion of the Nations League as well. Italy against
Ooh.
Spain, so that's going to be good.
So
Nice.
is it the 5th Euros in a row where Spain will face Italy? Or the 6th one even? No,
Well, I
It's
mean,
the third in a row that Spain and Croatia will meet.
but
this group-
Spain and Italy even more.
This group is like the group in 2012 when it was Spain, Italy, Croatia, and the Republic of Ireland.
Ah,
That's right.
Italy drew their first two games against Spain, took the lead, Di Natale. Took the lead against Croatia, Pirlo. And then they beat the Republic of Ireland in the last game to go through. And of course, they reached the
2012,
final.
The final, and then
And
2016 was the contest game in the last 16. 2020,
magnificent.
the
kicking
semi-final.
the ball on
And
the
2008,
and
nil-nil.
2008.
Spain
Exactly,
winning in the quarterfinals.
So that's what
Yeah.
5 Euros in a row where they
5
face
Euros
each
in a
other.
row.
Yes, yes,
really
yes,
cool,
yes.
man. Really cool.
Extraordinary. What do you think, Raph?
Classic.
5 years in a row. Very cool. What do you want me to say? It's not my debate. Spain, Italy. No,
How
he's-
much attention have you been paying? You managed to retain the last 5 words said. A bit before that, no way.
No, he's talking about the Spain, Italy. It doesn't concern me. What happens in the group
Very,
stage?
very well done.
Yeah.
Group stage,
Okay.
not important.
Tell you what, Rapha,
Is it-
let's move on to something that you are.
Do you want to
familiar
talk
with.
about a bit of Germany? Just a little bit.
Go on then.
I mean, it was, I think, greeted with a sense of relief, the draw, because Germany, as you know, are not in the best of spells at the moment, and any slightly more high-profile group, I think, would have just heaped more doom and gloom on proceedings. The fact that it's Scotland in the opening game and Hungary and Switzerland, I think, have made people slightly more excited and optimistic. Whether that's justified, I'm not sure, because certainly Hungary have been really good. They caused really problems to Germany in the Nations League and also in the Euros 2 years ago. And Switzerland, we also played them in the Nations League, and it wasn't easy either. So, yeah, but
And obviously,
we should do it really.
Germany last 16 is paired with the England group. So if Germany finish
Or
first, finish first of Group A, then they will play the second of Group C.
But if we finish second,
But if you finish second,
play the second of Italy, Spain,
Italy, basically.
yeah, of Group B.
or Croatia.
Oh, Croatia.
So
Yeah,
even for
not
Germany,
Spain. Spain will be first.
the knockout
Round,
phase
yeah.
could be tricky.
Alvaro.
My one is the man of the weekend for me, Christian Stuani, the very veteran striker of Girona, scoring a brace to trigger another remontada for Girona. It's incredible. They are coming back in so many games. They are still hanging there. And they beat Valencia 2-1. And Christian Stuani, a player who has been in Girona through the thin and thick. I mean, this time he was showing his quality, a little bit becoming if you like, the Leo Ulloa of this Girona, because Stuani doesn't play a lot, but
Right.
he's scoring decisive goals. I don't know if in decisive moments, because it's not April yet, and Leo Ulloa, scored the goals for Leicester to win the league in spring, but definitely he was racing up to the challenge. So Girona have a win, and Stuani was the best man of all the team.
Former Middlesbrough favourite.
Legend, yeah.
Yeah, legend
That's right.
even.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even. Although
Wow.
he missed two big chances against Athletic Club de Bilbao the weekend before, so he kind of redeemed himself.
Okay, nice to know.
Brought to Europe, of course, by Regina.
There you are.
There you go.
James, your moment of the weekend.
Well, I know Jules always takes the mickey on this. And
Don't
says
tell
that-
me there's too many.
says
Don't tell me
there
there's
are
too many.
actually too many. There are, James.
No,
I
just
mean,
pick one. We
we'll have
all
time
have
for them.
many.
I mean,
What time?
in terms of moment of the week, so about 5 goals, which would justify moments of the
oh
week
my god.
alone. But
You're going to go for the Lecce equaliser, probably.
no, I was going to go for
That's not
Ngombe.
even
I
on
would
the
have
list.
picked the
That's
list.
not even on the
Okay,
list.
tick, yeah, beautiful.
Or
Okay.
Sotil's.
That's not even on the list.
There's even
Not even on
more.
the
Too
list.
many now.
Yeah.
Sotil for Fiorentina
Nice goal.
is probably the best example of a shot kissing the bottom of the bar. Kisses it wonderful. It's magnificent.
All
But
right.
my
Prefer the
moment
overheads.
of the weekend is Jose Mourinho.
Let's
Yeah.
Let's
No,
not.
you don't
Let's
wanna
deny
indulge
him
him?
the oxygen of publicity.
He was on fire the whole week, really.
He was a
From after the
colossal-
Servette game.
Even by his own standards, he was reprehensible.
But I mean, did you see the interview he gave?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the
Well,
quotes.
important
Yeah.
is-
Oh, the quote, but you have to watch the actual
Yeah.
video. It's amazing. So, listeners, what happened is on Friday or Saturday, pre-match press conference, Jose Mourinho calls the referee emotionally unstable, not great. The Italian Football Federation says, or briefs that it's going to launch an investigation. He then obviously takes charge of the game against Sassuolo. Roma win. And the DAZN reporter asks him a question about the win afterwards, and Jose just launches into a 5-minute answer in Portuguese because he felt he was misinterpreted the day before, and obviously his Italian is not polished enough. So he did the whole interview in Portuguese without any warning, and without telling the DAZN reporter that he was going to do it in Portuguese.
And no one stopped him
Yeah.
midway through the answer.
No. So it was.
So he said that the referee didn't have the emotional stability to take charge of the game. Romeo, it has to be said, Romeo has to be said owed the win to a fairly soft penalty.
Very soft.
Yeah.
So yeah, but Jose gonna Jose. Rapha, moment of the weekend.
I'm torn between two, really.
Really? Say them both.
Do you
Why
want
not?
like the more positive one or the more sort of
positive moment of the week.
yeah?
Usually. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it is of course Germany beating France again in
the
a big
under
final of the
17s.
under
I knew that was coming.
17s. Almugera Kapba with a penalty that decided it,
Yeah.
and the
Again
second
on
time on
penalty.
penalties.
How many
In
Paris
6
born and bred
months.
players are in this loser team?
Only
that
one
the
from
French,
PSG?
Yeah, but there's I saw for the semi-final, and there was only one change for the final. It was 6 out of 11, I think. Yeah, if I remember.
Yeah, maybe that's why they lost.
The best ones.
Losers.
the best
Ironically,
ones.
the one player
Long
called
balls.
Paris, of course, won it for Germany. Paris Brunner.
What are the
Yeah.
odds?
who's just such a good boy that he was suspended on disciplinary reason by Dortmund.
I mean, look, we all
I'm
did
just
some
saying, I'm
stuff
just
when we were
saying,
16,
you know.
17, didn't
Right.
But-
What was the negative one? Right.
we? Oh, the own goal from Daniel Hoyer Fernandez.
Well, we'll come on to that. Don't you worry.
Heroes and zeros.
Yeah. All right.
There's something
Let's
there.
start though, seeing as there's so many moments that are worth talking about from there, with Serie A.
Oh,
Quite the weekend. Quite the weekend in Serie A. You had a goalkeeper winning a crucial penalty. You had Cyril Ngonge's brilliant overhead
I
kick
love
for
and an
Verona.
assist from a goalkeeper.
Yeah, Magic Mike.
Maignan.
Ah, yeah, also.
He was sick, yeah.
Yeah.
A 62-yard assist, was
Yeah,
it?
I think his third assist since
Yeah.
joining the club. Yeah.
Also, down in Naples, you had last year's winners versus probably this year's winners in Napoli Inter. James, what was this like?
It was a really good game, I felt. Even though Napoli lost 3-0, they didn't play too badly. And Inter just showed, what I keep saying about them, that they're sort of pound for pound the best Italian team since Juventus reached 2 Champions League finals in 2015, 2017. And I think it was a complete performance because you saw, for example, Jan Sommer, the goalkeeper, make a huge save on Elmas really early on. You'd have to make another one from Kvaratskhelia. So there's been no drop-off really from Onana since he moved on.
Strangely.
Well, yeah, but he was amazing for Inter. At the other end of the pitch, Thuram, again, scores. He's just been... Yeah, I mean, you think of Inter's chief executive, Beppe Marotta, or the free transfers that he's done over the years. Pogba, Pirlo, Khedira, could go on. I think Thuram is up there with the very best of them. And then in midfield, the midfield is just... people look at it and say, oh, it's a bit old with Mkhitaryan, Calhanoglu and Barella, but Calhanoglu's been reinvented, playing in front of the defence, scored a great goal to open the scoring.
Beautiful goal.
Which, Napoli said should have been ruled out because Lautaro Martinez rugby tackles Lobotka in the build-up, but lovely goal. And then Barella kind of involved in everything as well. So
And himself scoring a
good.
very
Yeah,
nice
lovely
goal.
goal.
His
That first touch,
slaloming
great
through.
first touch.
yeah. So, and to be honest, I mean, there was a lot riding on this game because Inter have had they played 5 of the last 6 games away from home. The last week they obviously played in Turin against Juventus in the Derby d'Italia. They went behind in that game, came back. They were 3-0 down at half time against Benfica. Came back, could have won that game. Didn't really matter because they'd already qualified. And then to go to Naples against the champions of Italy, who had shown signs that they were improving in 2 games under Mazzarri, I think it was quite a statement from Inter.
Yeah, indeed. They picked up the biggest victory there since
Very impressive.
1977.
I thought it was so impressive. Really
Thick.
impressive.
And Inter could go all the way, as we know, in Champions League.
There you go.
But
See?
I have a question on Calhanoglu for you. Is that the first time that Inter got the better deal from swapping players with Milan?
I think it probably is the first time in a long time that they did. No, because you're looking at Pirlo going to Milan,
Yeah.
Seedorf going to Milan. And at the time, I think Milan felt, you go and pay this guy the money that he wants because we don't think he's worth it. You know, he's only good on set pieces.
Yeah, he was inconsistent. a bit,
Good at
wasn't
free
he?
kicks, good at corner kicks, but doesn't really make the difference otherwise. And instead, every time Calhanoglu now plays against his old club, he usually scores a penalty or does something. I don't know. I mean, he's never played in Turkey aside from with his national team, but you can tell he's got that kind of. He's unfazed by really hostile atmospheres or just hostility in general. And certainly, I mean, this time last year he was being asked to play this role in front of the defence because Brozovic was out, and he wasn't entirely convincing. Inter weren't entirely convincing this time last year in the league. Remember Inzaghi was on the brink of being sacked.
That's true, yeah.
For the first of 3 occasions in that season. But now he seems to have completely mastered that role. So I would say yes, Raph. I think that's probably a good shout.
Good shout, Rapha. Inter last weekend with the 1-1 draw away at Juventus. That'll be the fixture that awaits Napoli. And a tough run of games that Walter Mazzarri begins with after Real Madrid in the Champions League last week. Inter this weekend and Juve away next weekend. Juve, who are 2 points behind Inter, getting the victory this weekend, but only just. Woof! Right at the death. Monza, they were leading, well, actually Juve were leading 1-0 after 90 minutes, but then Monza grab a goal in the 92nd, I think it was, from Valentin Carboni, but then
Federico Gatti scores, their centre-back.
After he fluffed the first shot that he tries. After that, he should not be allowed to score again. I mean, this is embarrassing.
But Gatti keeps showing up with these big goals. Remember, I think in Juventus' only defeat of the season, he was culpable for that shocking own goal. But I mean, this is quite a story from Gatti. I mean, this guy is like a bricklayer from Piedmont who was playing in the lower divisions until 18 months ago with Frosinone, and Juventus claimed to see a new Chiellini in him. I don't think he's of that level, but to score that goal and to win in stoppage time after conceding an equaliser in stoppage time, it kind of, again, it's one of those moments where you're like, that's the stuff of champions, really. And Inter had to really respond to it, and they did. But Juventus are going nowhere, even though they have Dusan Vlahovic who missed a penalty, and they never look particularly convincing. But I think people are underestimating the job that Allegri is doing, because at the start of the season, if you look at the back three, it's completely changed. It was Danilo who was essentially the captain, who's been out for the last 6 weeks. Alexandro, who no one's seen for a few weeks as well.
And the fullbacks as well, really. They're not.
Yeah.
Alexandro is certainly not a centre back.
Rugani, who Allegri always defends because he's been at the club for 8 or 9 years, he's had to come in and he's been really good. Next to Bremer, and then there's Gatti. You've got Pogba suspended, Fagioli suspended, Rabiot, who was amazing in this game.
So good.
Partly because he
the first
with
half
Gagliardini.
against Inter, to be fair.
And up front, people rave about Chiesa, but what does Chiesa do when he's not playing for his national team? Not all that much. You know what I mean?
Not
So
that much.
Vlahovic misses penalties, so they don't have a striker scoring lots of goals. Kane's not doing it because Kane's busy releasing new singles. I don't know if you've had the chance to listen to Outfit, this new track which dropped yesterday.
That's fantastic. I don't want to let this Serie A chat go by without talking about Lecce Bologna. Bologna have been on a terrific run of form, challenging for the Champions League places.
Yeah.
And they were heading towards another win away at Lecce when, in the 95th minute, Lecce sent their keeper up, which we know Italian sides love to do, and he went and won a penalty.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't score like Alberto Brignoli did for Benevento against Milan, or more recently, Provedel did. But yeah, child star Vladimir Falcone, because remember he was in a Carlo Verdone film as a baby. Carlo Verdone, very much the Roman. What's the equivalent here, James? Is there equivalent?
Not sure that there is.
No. He's a star of Roman films, comedies. Yeah, he's just the quintessential Roman when you're not thinking of Francesco Totti.
Or Sordi or something.
Incidentally, I did watch the documentary that Totti's ex-wife, put out on Netflix. Stunning. But anyway, back to Lecce Bologna.
He loves that. Like, the Kardashians, Totti's ex-wife. He loves that.
We have to talk about that, by the way. But yeah, he wins the penalty, and Bobby Littleman, Roberto Piccoli, scores. Equalises. So there you go. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Anything more from Serie A, or should we get on? Because there's big stories elsewhere.
I mean, there's Paolo Maldini lighting a match and sort of torching AC Milan. There's, as I said, I'm not lying when there's too much to talk about.
Right.
And obviously there's.
Have you got a column on the Athletic where people can read more?
Yeah, probably.
All right then.
I haven't done my review of the Ilari Blasi documentary though.
Okay, we'll do that later on.
Okay.
Remind us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next up, Jules, Ligue 1.
Oh, good.
Jules, terrible scenes this weekend before Nantes-Nice with a Nantes fan dying of a knife wound.
Yeah, stabbed to death an hour before kick-off. It's a strange story, really. Basically, some Nice ultras who travelled to Nantes, and it's quite a long way if you think about it, were supposed to be within the away team kind of group or towards the stand. But they got to the stadium in Ubers, basically. 6 of them, 6 cars, so all following each other kind of thing. And
so
arrived...
Liga sponsored by Uber? Or
Uber Eats, yeah,
Uber
still
Eats.
similar. I'm not sure if they were Ubers, but they were those so they arrived in those minicabs or Ubers on the wrong side, basically, of the stadium, near a bar where the Nantes Ultras from La Brigade Loire are always there before home matches. And when those Nantes fans spotted the Nice fans in those cars, they started 200 of them surrounding the cars and starting banging on the cars, trying to get the Nice Ultras out of the car for a fight. And 2 of the Uber drivers reacted, got out of their car, one with a knife, stabbed the young Nantes Ultra twice in the back, killing him. The other one was punching people out, and then they fled, obviously, before the police found them. So it's a really, really sad story. And we go back to a debate that we've had many times before. What do you do in France to stop those violence? Like we saw the Lyon coach being obviously attacked by the Marseille fans a few weeks ago, all of that. And it seems like the government and the league will just purely ban away fans to travel to games, which I think would be a real shame because that's part of football. But if you can't ensure the security of those away fans, then why would they be allowed to travel?
So
anyway?
You think there's going to be a blanket ban coming in soon for all travelling fans?
Yeah, probably. That's certainly where I think the sports minister, Amélie Oudéa-Castéra, that's what she wants. I don't know how the league will respond to that. Every single game, not just in my league but in every league, is ranked for risk. So from 0 to 5. So 0 is there's no risk. The fans are friends. Anybody can go. There will be no problem. Obviously, 5 out of 5 is super ultra risky. They hate each other. The ultras are going to fight. Blah blah blah. This was 2 out of 5. Cool. So clearly there was a bit of baggage before between the Nantes ultras and the Nice ultras, but not that bad. So really, this should not have been a game with problems. And even if a 2 out of 5 brings you a death and brings you a problem, they just believe that you can't allow anybody to travel anymore.
Good Lord.
Which is the case already in the top games. So Lyon, for example, the fans were allowed to travel for the first time in 10 years, I think. But no PSG fans in Marseille, no Marseille fans in Paris, that kind of stuff. But yeah, they're thinking about doing it for everyone.
Well, earlier this season we saw Lyon fans allowed to go to Marseille for the first time in a long time, and the game ended up suspended because of that attack on the
didn't even
Lyon
start,
bus.
Postponed, yeah.
That's actually going to be replayed this midweek.
On Wednesday. Yeah.
On Wednesday. Right, yeah. But without Fabio Grosso, ended up with 13 stitches?
Yeah, he almost lost an eye.
He's now lost his job.
He lost his job as well. And he lost a lot of games, almost an eye, and his job now. Indeed, for Fabio Grosso, it was just not working out for him. 7 games. Even some of the Lyon players were surprised that he actually lasted that long, 7. And I don't know where it went wrong. Maybe he was just not ready. Maybe it was too early. I do think that as good as the job's
a mess. The club's a mess.
Yeah, and I think he should not have taken it. They offered it to him. He could have easily said, actually, I'm not really sure this is right for me at this time, or that the club is in the right position. He went for it. It was brave, I think, because it was going to always be very difficult. So Pierre Sage, or as the obviously Lyon fans have renamed him, Stonewise, as Pierre Sage, is in charge as an interim coach.
Stone Wise.
Yes, Stone Pierre.
Okay.
Wise, Sage.
Sage.
Pierre means a stone.
Pierre, yeah, as in you throw a Pierre, like a caillou,
Petra.
Pierre.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess.
And then Sage is like your wise.
Yes,
Yes, Saggio.
Yeah. So
Sage.
Pierre Sage, who was
A sage, yes, James.
No, sage.
sage, who was at the academy, who before that had been like an assistant, and he's quite a smart guy.
Okay.
And to be fair, they lost at Lens on Saturday.
3-2.
3-2.
Both Lyon goals from that man, Jake O'Brien.
Jake O'Brien, a Crystal Palace legend, of course. Although I don't think he ever played for them, but certainly was at the club as a youth player from Cork, and then went on loan.
Is that because there's an ownership link there?
Indeed, because before he was at Molenbeek in Belgium, also owned by John Textor. And he's their top goal scorer with 3 goals in the league. I think that says a lot. But they played great. The new Karim the Dream, Jake the Dream, if you want. But to be fair, they played much better against Lens than anything we've seen this season before. So there's maybe something with Stonewise that can start. Although they think about Sampaoli, they think about Pep Genesio coming back to the club. So they've got a few other options. But I think for now they will give Stonewise a bit of a chance. I think certainly he will be there on the bench on Wednesday.
All right.
Stonewise sounds like a kind of 90s grunge band. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
That can work.
Maybe.
Marseille, who will be hosting Lyon this weekend, this midweek, were victorious at home to Rennes.
Very good.
Aubameyang redemption story continues, Jules.
Yeah, scored
after
2.
Thursday.
Yeah, you saw him on Thursday with Rapha.
Wonderful overhead kick.
Against Ajax, really good. And then he scored again, the penalty, and we had a lovely goal from Unai, Asdin Unai, who'd been terrible the whole game and then popped out. Scores a wonderful goal to double the lead for Marseille. Rennes were down to 10 men. Again, they keep getting those those red cards.
So many red cards, Jules, in Liga this weekend. I've just opened up the page. 2 in Marseille Rennes, as you were saying, 1 in Lens Lyon, 1 in PSG Le Havre. We've got to get to that one. That's mad. And then Montpellier Monaco. What the hell? Just violent on the pitch, violent off the pitch.
Loads of things happen.
Madness.
Madness. Still not as bad as in other leagues, but
Fight Club, Liga, Fight Club.
Well, yes, indeed, because Paris Saint-Germain now 4 points clear at the top. We mentioned Nice before, the tragedy before the game. Nice went on to lose for the first time this season there.
Yeah.
Paris Saint-Germain, their match away at Le Havre, saw them lose Gigi Donnarumma after 10 minutes. After he went in with a karate kick on...
brain freeze completely.
On Josué Casimir.
Yeah, Casimir, that's right. I mean, I don't really know what went through his head.
He almost went through Casimir.
He was clearly aiming at Casimir's head.
Yeah.
After 10 minutes, and you think, okay, Arnaud Tenas, who's the goalkeeper who came from Barcelona, who was Enrique New, who was a backup or number 3, even there. And we're like, uh-oh, what is he going to do? But he was great. He was amazing. He made some big saves.
Was he so good that people are now saying, do we really want Gigi Donnarumma when he comes back from suspension?
So for now, Luis Enrique seems to say after the game, Gigio is okay. He would start again when he plays.
He's not been great recently.
He hasn't been great. There's the mistake, the fumble against Newcastle, obviously, that cost a lot. Against
which one? The one this time or the one last time?
Well, yeah, both. But this one, especially the one last time, especially there was the one against Monaco that in the end didn't cost them in the end because they won the game, but still. And also, Tenas is much better with his distribution than Donnarumma, who clearly only uses his feet to get on the coach and down. Nothing else.
Aiming for other people's heads.
And for Casimir's head. So it would be interesting to follow. He will have another game, at least. We don't know yet exactly how long the suspension will be for Donnarumma. So I think it'd be very interesting to see because I certainly liked what I saw. And then he was PSG defended well. Vitinha scored late. Julien scored early. This was it. There was not much really into it. But Le Havre played well, and for promoted sides, I just like what Luca Elsner is doing there.
Okay. Kylian Mbappe with his 15th goal in the 14 league matches so far. The last player, Jules, to score that many at this stage of a Liga season was?
Kylian Mbappe?
No.
Ibra?
No, Hervé Révely.
Oh, that's a long time ago.
It is.
Yeah, with
Saint-Étienne.
Oui,
Yeah.
c'est ça. Well, there you go, Jules. A pretty dramatic weekend in France. Anything else we should know?
No, I think that's all for me today.
Okay, very good. In the Eredivisie, the top two went at it this Sunday. That's Feyenoord and PSV. PSV, who'd won every single game so far this season in the Netherlands, won this one in Rotterdam as well. 2-1 over Feyenoord, which gives them a slender lead at the top of the Eredivisie. Just the 10 points.
Just the 10 points after 14 games.
For Peter Bosch's side. How do you like that high line?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. There you go. They've played 14, won 14. There's only one team that's ever done that before in the Eredivisie, and it was PSV themselves. Back in 1987, 1988. Hang on, wasn't that the year that they went on to win the treble, including the European Cup? Yes. True. Yes, it was.
We laugh about Peter Bosch's high line, which always gets sort of exposed in the Champions League. But they've conceded only 6 goals in the league this season.
And that's in Holland.
Goal difference of 44, plus 44. Scored 50.
That's like 2 goals in any other league, isn't it?
That's right, Jack.
And
it's like 20% of the Italian match.
The XG as well was higher than Feyenoord, so it's not like if they went there and it was a robbery and they scored 2 counter-attacking goals. They actually played really well and basically dominating the game. So
all right, last week got themselves through to the last 16 of the Champions League.
Coming back to Sevilla.
Yeah.
Very
impressive.
Very impressive.
Think that maybe...
And they've got Bad de Jong up front. So doing all of that with Bad de Jong, it's pretty impressive.
The wrong de Jong.
The wrong de Jong.
Okay. Next up, let's talk about La Liga. Big game in Catalonia this weekend. Alvaro, with your friend Xavi notching up another important victory.
So dull. It was so dull.
it was a fantastic game, this one. Poor attendance, by the way.
Oh, yes.
For an
was
Atletico
like 35,000, was it?
38,000, I think.
Why is that?
A couple of things. The weather. It wasn't great that day in Barcelona.
What? In Barcelona?
Yeah, seriously.
The weather is being blamed for bad attendance.
Thing is, if you are used to 20 degrees in winter, and suddenly one day the temperature drops down to 10 and it happens to rain, I think that you will consider that bad weather because you are used to something different.
Thursday night,
fair weather fans.
we had a game. What was it? Helsinki Aberdeen, which had to be suspended for 15 minutes because the pitch was so covered in snow. It was -5, I think. There were fans there with no shirts on. No shirts.
Throwing snowballs at
it's crazy. I played in -3 in Ascot on Friday evening myself. Yeah. I mean, you can do it. Anyone.
Did you take your shirt off?
I just scored a beautiful goal. One for Niels. Yeah, that was nice.
So that was one factor. Are there other factors behind this low attendance?
No, I think that the other factor is the performances of Barcelona haven't been too good, even though beating Porto, I think that was like turning a page for them.
Okay.
Yeah, because for the first time in 2 years, they will be in the 3 years actually, they will be in the Champions League last 16 round. So I think that this time they played with a lot of ease. I think that the flow of Barcelona was very good. It has to be said that Simeone has never won at Camp Nou in La Liga as Atletico.
Barcelona, this wasn't at Camp Nou.
Well, yeah, at Barcelona ground, basically. Even though some of the most painful draws that Barcelona has suffered at home in the last 10 years have been against Atletico de Madrid, one of them in 2014, not to win the league title.
Good in.
That one. And the other one, I think that in the Champions League 2016, when Atletico drew against Barcelona and then went through to the next round. But anyway, I think that Atletico kind of competed, but Barcelona was very good this time. Íñigo Martínez picked an injury at the beginning of the game, but still Xavi could field more or less his preferred lineup with the absence of Gavi that we have spoken about. And Barcelona dominated. They managed to supply a lot to Lewandowski. Lewandowski didn't have a good day. This time, I think that he cannot blame anybody for his performance. But generally speaking, I think Barcelona was good, with a couple of players just standing out. For me, one of them, Joao Felix, obviously, we'll speak about him now. And the other one, Iñaki Peña, in the same way that PSG has a new goalkeeper right now. Iñaki Peña, in the absence of Ter Stegen, who might have to have surgery in his back. Iñaki Peña did a good game. I'm not too sure about his aerial game, but I think that his reflexes are very good.
Excellent. Well, let's talk about Joao Felix, because obviously this is a huge game for him against his parent club, because he's on loan at Barca from Atleti. What a brilliant goal.
Yeah.
I mean, superbly opportunistic chip, no?
Yeah, and on top of that, he's right-footed, so
Right.
he made it even more
The
difficult.
Oblak could have come out quicker though. It's still a long touch before
That's-
the chip.
But, I mean, let's
Nah,
not.
come
Let's
on.
not.
And
do
I'm
that.
not having that
but
with
Jules,
Oblak.
I will blame more Nahuel Molina because he was very
True.
weak in
But
his
still,
challenge.
after that touch, the ball is quite far, and then it takes Oblak forever to come out.
Good
That's
goal
just-
anyway,
yeah.
I think. And the celebration was the kind of celebration that Atletico de Madrid fans didn't like.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, Joao Felix still belongs to Atletico, but I think he has burned every bridge with Atletico right now.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what's going to happen at the end of this season?
Look, he got sent on loan to Barcelona, but he extended his contract automatically with Atletico de Madrid until 2029. It was pretty much a double operation in a way. I don't think Simeone wants him there. Joao Felix has expressed few times that he likes Barcelona, he loves Barcelona, and he likes the way they play, which is clearly that indirect, if you like, message to Simeone. And I don't think that he will come back, but at the same time, the contractual situation of Joao Felix is difficult because Atletico still believes that this player is valued on 75, 80 million easily, and they would like to get that money for him. And Barcelona is not in the position to spend that money on Joao Felix, not at all. On the other hand, Joao Felix is just defending his case, scoring goals. He did against Porto in the Champions League. He was decisive for Barcelona to go through. He hasn't scored a lot in La Liga, but I think that this game was one of those games in which Joao Felix can feel proud of himself because
But
he did it against Atletico.
Is there a case of it's really only when he wants to? Because I think I looked, the last goal in the league was September 15th or something like that.
Yeah,
So it's been a long time without scoring at all
yeah.
in the league. I mean, and it feels like sometimes you watch him, and if he's motivated, then he will have a great game. If he doesn't really fancy it, he's pretty anonymous. And
Yeah.
could you spend another 80 million plus his wages on a player that is still a bit inconsistent?
That's the thing that, look, when Joao Felix started playing for Benfica in his first breakthrough season, he scored 20 goals. And I remember talking to you guys back at the time when we started with the podcast, and I was saying that I think that this guy is already a reality. If you score 20 goals as a 19-year-old player in Benfica, you are not a promise anymore. You are a player who is ready for top football. And he has been at times. When Atletico won the league in 2021, getting 50 points in the first half of the competition, of the tournament, Joao Felix was phenomenal. One of the reasons why Atletico won La Liga. But then he's very inconsistent as well. He's a player of games. He's not a player of big tournaments and big leagues so far. And he has to improve that. He has to improve that. It's something related to his personality, probably. I don't think that he has the eagerness to come onto the game and score in every single game. His performances have been okay for Barcelona, very good at times, but it's true that in October and early November he wasn't good enough, and he has to work on that. Barcelona knows that, Xavi knows that, even Joao Felix himself knows that he has to be better on a consistent basis to be considered one of the good players, especially because Atletico is not going to let him go for any less than 75 million.
Right, well, especially after what they paid for him was what,
120.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. 1-0 for Barcelona, just like the scoreline against Porto. Barcelona, in fact, have won the most games by that 1-0 scoreline since the start of last season of all of the clubs in Europe's top five.
Catalanacho.
Nice. 1-0
Yeah.
to the Barcelona, you might say. They are 4 points behind the leaders, Real and Girona, who are level at the top. Who do Barcelona face next weekend, Alvaro?
Girona.
Girona.
Yeah.
Is it Girona, not Girona?
Girona is, if you use the Spanish way of saying it,
I see,
it's
but they're
Girona.
from Catalonia.
In
so-
Catalonia, they say Girona, basically.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, both Real and Girona won this weekend. Real 2-0 against Granada. Girona, with that aforementioned 2-1 victory over Valencia with a brace from Christian, spelt very badly, Stuani.
Yeah.
Oh, Rodrigo got a goal for the 5th game in a row for Real.
Yeah, because Rodrigo is very good. And because Rodrigo is another streaky striker like Joao Felix.
Ooh.
But I think that in the case of Rodrigo, you can really tell that he's got the potential to be a 25 goals a season footballer.
Ooh.
Really, because
After what you said about Joao Felix, though,
Yeah.
5 years ago,
Yeah.
I'm not
I don't have any credibility here.
I'm not going to get too excited.
Alright, maybe he can be the kind of striker that sometimes you feel that he doesn't have a clear position on the pitch. We have spoken about that. But since Vinicius is out, he's scoring all these goals. And he's playing really nicely as well. I would say that he's not only a footballer that defines his performances via the goals. If he doesn't score, therefore he doesn't deserve a good rating. He plays really good football. And Jude Bellingham, the new golden boy, by the way, we have to say that he may have to undergo shoulder injury. I don't know about that yet, but
surgery for the dislocated shoulder.
Dislocated shoulder, but his performances have been phenomenal, and the one against Napoli in the Champions League was one of the best performances of a Real Madrid player in a while. I would say that Carlo Ancelotti, sometimes he gets praised for his man management, and it's true, he's very good on that, but he has created favorable context for a few players to sign. I remember, for example, Di Maria in 2014, he became a left midfielder because Real Madrid had to play with the BBC, and Di Maria had to abandon the left channel. And Ancelotti made of Di Maria a player that was so good that Manchester United the season later was paying a lot of money for him. Same thing with Fede Valverde. In the absence of many midfielders, Fede Valverde is playing now in midfield with Toni Kroos. And Fede Valverde has... or he's playing in the position where he can prove his quality best, because the pitch is immense and Fede Valverde has the freedom to run all over the park, and that is thanks to Carlo Ancelotti. Carlo Ancelotti has decided to deploy Fede Valverde to that position. Jude Bellingham, same thing. At Borussia Dortmund he was phenomenal, he was very good, but it has been at Real Madrid where Jude Bellingham has found these numbers. So I think that Carlo Ancelotti has a lot to do with that. He creates the context for a player to sign.
Okay, excellent. Quick mention for your lot, Alvaro, Athletic, who got to 5th with a mighty 4-0 thumping this weekend.
We didn't lose at Girona on Monday, and we beat Rayo. Rayo didn't lose against Barcelona, didn't lose against Real Madrid. They come to San Mamés and look what happens. With Nico Williams.
And Iñaki Williams.
But I want to single out Nico because he extended his contract. His contract was running in 2024 and he signed 3 more years. And this guy is quite special too. Iñaki probably scores more goals. He's been more years in the top flight as well. But Nico Williams, we haven't had a dribbler like this that I can remember. Really.
It's funny how you had the Williams sisters and you got the Williams
brothers. Yeah.
What is it about Williams? I wonder.
And all of them are very good.
Yeah.
They are fun. Point, and there is another player that is the best one we have probably at Bilbao, which is Ollán Sanzet. Probably better than Nico Williams, I would say. Maybe the best academy player we have had since Fran Yeste or Julien Guerrero. His positioning of the body to receive the ball, to give the passes. He's also capable of organizing the game as well. His connection with Iñaki Williams on the right is paying dividends for Athletic. Look, we're looking good, and we have lost Íñigo Martínez this summer, so the defense is kind of still suffering from that. We lost our best defender, but we're competing and we have scored 30 goals already, which is more than Barcelona. So things are good at Bilbao at the minute. I don't know if with Girona being that good, we're going to be able to qualify for the Champions League, but if there is any manager who can take us there, it's Valverde, because he qualified us for the Champions League 9 years ago already.
There you go. 3 points off the top 4 right now. Magnificent. Next up, Rapha, Bundesliga. So Rapha, huge game in the Bundesliga last weekend. Bayer Leverkusen, top of the table and absolutely flying, hosting Borussia Dortmund. How'd it go?
1-1 draw, James. Their run of 14 wins in a row interrupted. They're still unbeaten, of course, this season, which is pretty good. I think 18 wins, 2 draws for Xabi Alonso, but they should have perhaps won the game. They were a better team. Dortmund scored early and then did very little. Riasson with the goal. Leverkusen had problems converting their dominance into chances and into goals. And then Schick came on, Patrick Schick, after his long injury, to provide an assist for Victor Boniface.
Lovely, a very well-worked goal, the equaliser.
Yeah, it was. Nice. And afterwards, lots of controversy about penalty that perhaps should have gone Dortmund's way. Karim Adeyemi was touched and made sort of a big, exaggerated movement. And quite commendably, I think, Daniel Siebert, the referee, came out to explain his thinking and said, yes, there was a touch, but it wasn't enough for all this falling. and I earlier hadn't given a penalty for Dortmund. Against Dortmund when Emre Can might have committed a foul, so I'm not going to change my way of refereeing. And I think Terzic, who usually gets not emotional in that sense, he gets emotional when
in the Mourinho sense.
No, more when he connects with a crowd, or he gets quite passionate and touchy-feely, but got very angry because I think it was the kind of result, the kind of performance that yet again has us questioning where Dortmund are going this season.
To the observer, that seems like a good result for Dortmund.
The result was okay, but Dortmund, they're in a fight for top 4, and you have tremendous consistency from Leverkusen. Bayern are definitely going to be in the top 4. Stuttgart, who had another win this week against Bremen with their fantastic striking duo Undaf and Guirassy, they look like they're going to be top 4. So it's now between Dortmund and Leipzig for that last place.
Who do Dortmund face next weekend, Rapha? It's Leipzig on Saturday.
Yeah, and they've got a really difficult cup game in Stuttgart as well on Wednesday.
Have they?
And that game, I think, is going to have a big impact on how the end of the season will go, because this is the most realistic chance of silverware, obviously, for Dortmund. Bayern already out, Leipzig already out the cup. So it's between them and Leverkusen as big favourites.
And Stuttgart.
If they get through this game, then they will be joint favourites with Leverkusen. And then their season will still have a big meaning. Of course, they've qualified in the Champions League, so that keep them going, but they know it's unlikely to win that. And because they're already out the running for the title, effectively domestically, I think the pressure is beginning to build, and that's why we saw such an outbreak of emotion, of anger from Terzic.
Raph, you said that the referee came out. Like, what was the process for that? Did Sky Deutschland just go, oh look, we've got the referee? Or did he? So
it happens quite frequently. So referees, they can decide when they walk through the mixed zone if they want to stop or not, and quite often when they feel that it was controversial or they want to explain themselves, they do, and it's kind of part of the culture. Yeah, and I think it's a good thing. It humanizes them. I think it gives a bit of an insight, and it tends to, I think, calm things down and move on the discussion.
Very good. Dortmund currently lying 10 points off the top of the table, just a point outside the top 4. Leipzig, the team above them, and as mentioned, that's where they're going to be playing next weekend. Actually, are they home or away? Do you know? I'm not sure. Let me just check.
I think it'll be at Dortmund.
Yeah, it is. Leipzig, the team immediately above them, and that's who they'll be facing at the Signal Iduna Park next Saturday. Leipzig, who gone 4th with that draw for Dortmund with a 2-1 win over Heidenheim. But Rapha, perhaps... Oh, and also Bayern not playing because their clash with Union Berlin got postponed because of heavy snowfall.
Heavy
How
snowfall.
heavy, Raph?
Super heavy. Do you want me to... What?
I don't know. Do I want you to...
repeat my line from my column that you've read? No.
I haven't.
No, you haven't read it.
Where can I read that?
In the Athletic.
Yeah.
What was the line?
Well, I think readers should be rewarded. No, we shouldn't give
Raph,
away all the best material.
Now. It's your line.
All the best material.
But then in Augsburg they played.
If you're not on the YouTube version of this podcast, listener, I urge you to go there now just to see the grin.
I'm just happy when you read out my material because you make it sound even nicer.
Oh, thanks, Raph. Anyway, Bayern couldn't play this weekend, but a game that did take place in the Bundesliga 2 was the Hamburg derby. Rapha.
Sorry, because before Augsburg played. So how come Augsburg and Bayern and Munich are close to each other, right? So there was not enough snow in Augsburg, but there was enough. There's too much in.
Okay. Yeah, I think Augsburg had the extra day, was on Sunday, I think. Sunday, true. And it all came down on Saturday morning.
Oh, yeah.
0.5 meter of snow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
half
crazy. The airport closed down. All the trains stopped working. The subway stopped working. And this is a place where they usually deal with this kind of stuff. And things
it's not England or anything.
It's not England. But it was overwhelming.
Even Nagelsmann had to drive to the draw.
Yeah.
He could not fly.
Did he?
800 kilometers.
800 kilometres.
Long
It's
drive,
long.
that.
It's
Wow.
long.
Last team that drove to a draw, that was like Barcelona against Inter in the...
Yeah, in the
And usually
volcano
Nagelsmann-
season.
Usually Nagelsmann skateboards in his commutes. doesn't he?
Yeah, it was
So
a bit too far
bit
for
too
that.
far.
You could have
Any-
snowboarded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
very good.
But yeah, the Hamburg derby.
Hamburg derby, James. I mean, the derby will go down, unfortunately, for Daniel Hoyer Fernandes for this incredible
Amazing.
own goal that he
Why,
scored.
Rapha? How incredible was it?
So Hamburg are passing it around in their own box, which they often do, because that's Walter Ball. Tim Walter, the...
Because I'd seen this on social media and it was captured like worst own goal. And when the defender passes it back across his own goal,
Yeah.
you think, ooh, this is it. But it's not.
I mean, the pass back is already bad
Yeah.
in itself.
Yeah.
Then it takes a horrible bubble because
is that what happened?
the pitch is
okay.
cut up.
Yeah.
So it comes up,
Yeah.
and the goalkeeper, under pressure because the pass back is so poor, whacks it.
He runs up as if to clear it, but clears it into his own net.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Backwards.
just an amazing piece of...
Raph, if this happened in Italy, what would you be saying?
I would say, Donnarumma's at it again.
Hey.
Such a bad lead.
So that was Daniel Hoyer Fernandes.
Yeah, Hoyer Fernandes. But to his and Hamburg's credit, they came back from being 2-0 down, courtesy of that own goal and another one that they conceded, and fought back to a 2-2 draw. And the fans, the away fans, because it was at San Pauli, were really celebrating Hoyer Fernandes and making him feel good. And he came up afterwards and gave a really good, sort of calm and cool interview saying, yeah, these things happen, didn't faze me. Yes, they were making fun of me. They're having a good time. It's amusing for them, but for me, I don't care. Didn't even hear it. And came out with a bit of credit. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk
Well,
about?
the one thing I want to ask is, why don't you tell us about Hilary Blasi's...
Oh, yeah.
Hilary
I mean, what shocked him the
Totti's,
most is that one day she was at the Notting Hill Carnival, wasn't she?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but she was here this weekend at a restaurant I go to.
What
I
restaurant?
was
His dream is
Finally,
to meet
finally.
her. You know,
Finally,
Ida, you know his dream. His dream is to meet her. You know that.
What restaurant, James?
There's a restaurant in Parsons Green, actually, which is Pugliese.
Okay. Is it called Pugliese?
No, it's called Gola.
Okay.
Gola.
Yeah.
And
Gola.
the owner's a
Francesco
great guy
Segnaso.
called
Okay.
Aaron. But yeah, so she was there this weekend. So yeah, I feel like I've again missed another scoop. I would love to do the interview or the press junket of this documentary because it is phenomenal. I don't know, it just like hits all of my spots, just like Rome, Totti,
believe it.
reality TV
I
trash.
cannot believe it.
Because like Hilary is, I suppose, like the Davina McCall, if you like, of Italian TV, maybe on another level. And that she did X Factor, well, Big Brother mainly, and obviously fulfills the kind of Victoria Beckham role. But this is just, it's just like it's an hour long like diss track, I suppose, of Francesco Totti.
Nice.
And never go for coffee with someone, James. That's one of the morals.
Oh my god.
Never do that.
Why? What might happen?
Because Francesco will read a lot into it. So don't do that. And the other thing is, and I feel this is
If
why
you're married to Francesco Totti, don't go for coffee.
don't go for coffee.
Yeah,
With
that
anyone.
would be
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Anyone.
And then
Yeah.
the best part, and I really appreciated this because you've lived in Rome, James. You know how big a deal like sort of Roman taxi drivers are. Yeah? Just tell you everything, they know everything. And there's like a narrative device, I suppose, that they use where she's in the back of a Roman cab.
Nice.
And the cabbie is like, we all knew, that what was going on, because we all know that Francesco Totti loves maritozzi, which is the sweet cakes that you get in Rome. And then there's this great dramatic pause where he goes, "We all know he loves maritozzi and women."
Head on.
But I want to know, did he get his watches back? That's what
So
I really care about.
So halfway through the documentary, it was losing me a little.
Can you call this a documentary?
No, okay, not a documentary. It's warts and all kind of, one-sided, as I said, diss track, essentially.
Okay.
But like, she comes back to the Totti house one day, and as you mentioned, there's Totti claims that she'd gone to the bank and cleared out a safe deposit box with a collection of Rolexes. But there are all these scenes towards the end of the documentary of her being in the house, and all of a sudden all these belongings of hers have gone missing, and she doesn't know what's happened to them. Is Totti like holding them as a like tit for tat kind of thing going
sad,
on?
Isn't it?
But she then one night she finds them hidden in a kind of loft. She alleges like found all these like bags and then put them in like a recess within the Totti villa.
Sounds like she's just figured out where she put them. Oh, that'll be Francesco Totti.
Anyway, I mean, there's been quite a lot of blowback for Hillary.
Has he responded?
No, but I mean, there's another great bit where she catches him.
Really?
Not in the act, Jules,
Okay.
but she catches him going out with new Mrs. Totti.
With the cameras rolling.
Well, no. So there's some phone footage, and they then kind of reenact her and her best friend. They get in the car and they drive on a night in Rome to where basically they busted
Reconstruction.
Totti. Yeah. And it's and you can see there's like obviously it's it's.
But what he can go
tragedy,
out with
but
his new partner. No?
Yeah, everybody knows that.
No, but this was when they were still together.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I said about the coffee, he basically read some texts on Hillary's phone.
Yes.
Which he thought she was having an affair because she'd organised this
reading her
coffee
phone anyway?
with her style. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so he apparently
Was it a Google
changed
Pixel phone? Because the advanced security measures on that.
Well, there are paparazzi photos that are in this not documentary, but like, so he assumes that she's having an affair, which she claims she isn't. He changes and then starts seeing this girl Noemi, who
no, I don't think I do.
who is then photographed at the Stadio Olimpico, not with him, but kind of in the same VIP area. But anyway, this is exhilaration, also, and also obviously quite a lot of upset at sort of busting him.
Oh, yeah. Exhilaration.
So has he responded or not?
Yeah.
Has he responded or not yet?
New partner has.
Okay.
Yeah, which is I can't remember what she said. It was one of those cryptic Instagram posts, which everyone sort of thought, okay, that's directed at Hillary. But I would recommend watching it also because she pulls out the.
I don't need to know.
No, but James, she pulls out the Sei Unica T-shirt. And there's quite a sad moment where she's like, this was meant for me. Obviously, it's not.
I think the whole thing is sad,
Yeah, well, it is, James.
It is sad. Anyway. Oh well.
It's on Netflix. Go and watch it.
Netflix.
Well,
yeah.
Don't waste. He said everything that you need to know. You don't need to.
It's like I watch it already.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Don't need to watch that.
Brilliant.
Don't need to read Rapha's article. Brilliant. It's been a very productive morning. Excellent, listener. Thank you so much for being with us. If you're still there, we'll be back next Monday because it's Champions League, the final group stage week ever.
PSG in the Europa League.
Imploding. Manchester United imploding as well.
Donnarumma will be available for that game.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
Big week.
Away at Dortmund.
Bobby Bacala.
Bacalao involved, certainly.
Yeah.
And still a lot to play for, to finish top or second in the group, to go to the Europa League. So, yeah.
Well, we'll talk more about this next week and about all the exciting things that we mentioned will be happening over the weekend. Brilliant. Jules, many thanks for now. Rapha, Alvaro, James, Charlie and Rachel in the booth. And again, you listener, from all of us here, it's goodbye. The Totally Football Show podcast is available 3 times a week, bringing you all the football news you could reasonably be expected to care about. We've got views, we've got stats, we've got analysis, we've got some of the best football writers around, and the whole thing is absolutely free. So have a listen on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or all the usual places by clicking on the link below.